I just spawned in America with no gear to my name and everyone else is so powerful, but I have a plan to take over the world. The end dimension opens in 2 weeks and I want to become the most powerful before that. But I can't do that if the most valuable thing in my inventory is a log. On this earth shit SMP, I found out that resources spawn realistically, meaning certain places like Africa had the most amount of diamonds. The problem with this, every member started off with just one country, but the regions with the most diamonds conveniently were all claimed by admins. Meanwhile, I didn't even get a country. You know what I was working with? Alabama. I was like, oh my god, what do? I don't even know where Alabama is. So I roughly got to the area where I thought it was and started claiming. Now to claim actual chunks of land on the server, you needed this thing called power. And to start off, I had very little amounts of power. So I had to be extremely careful with what I claim and take only the country that was assigned to me. I took the entirety of Florida. Great, now I had no power and accidentally claimed the wrong region. Whatever was I gonna do now? How was my empire gonna grow? What's up, Don?
Oh, hey, Ash.
Hello.
I'm leaving now.
What the yeah, the server also has helicopters. Don took me to his massive Yukonian empire, which was this giant greasy pancreas on the top left of America. But what Yukon had was power, and right now the only thing in my possession was Florida. I told Don to ally with me in exchange for my plans for world domination, and he was like, okay. And thus the Yuko-Swagistani coalition was born. Within the next 2 days, we wanted to wage war against some poor innocent country just so we can get more power. But even to win a small war, we needed good gear, and even though right now we managed to get full diamond, there was one more secret the server was hiding. Custom enchants. From axes with sweeping edge to pickaxes that are literally bombs. I needed these custom enchants to stand any chance of winning these fights. But how would we get them? I thought villagers could easily hook me up with these books, right? So I looked around until I realized villages didn't spawn on the Earth's map. So then I'm like, crap, what do I do now? So then I thought and I'm like, if they didn't spawn on the map, what if I look outside the map? The Void, or as I like to call it, Michigan, had tons of naturally spawned villages that Don brought back to base and we could easily grind out mending books. So Don worked on getting us overpowered enchants. In the meantime though, I was feeling a little bit insecure. My glorious nation, Swagistan as I called it, wasn't looking so glorious right now. I found out I had a little bit leftover power and expanded it to actually Alabama from its original Florida. With the glorious nation of southern Swagistan by my side, I went and got some netherite and we were ready to wage war. 10 days left before the end opened. To get our first bit of power before that, we had to wage war on a country. Now it's time to pick a country. Although our goal was to get the most power possible, what's a small, easily defeatable country? Oh right, the entire continent of Antarctica. This guy called Stirfry owns the entirety of Antarctica. When he came to Yukon to ask for an alliance, we were like, okay, we could help him, but you know what's even funnier? If we waged war on him for the stupidest reason to get all this power. We had a little nice conversation in front of Don's house, but then he said something like, oh, I don't like poutine. And Don, being a raging Canadian, immediately saw this as an opportunity.
You're just being mean now.
You're just being mean. Are you really? Are you really being mean right now? After that next level intimidation, the guy got on his broomstick and flew away back to his country. Well, that was disappointing. I didn't even get to fight. Psych, baby, the war was on. I flew over there immediately. Then me, Don, and Ivory destroyed Antarctica, killing him over and over and over again. Eventually, he gave up, so I wrote an official war document and got Stirfry to sign it himself, which would give us all of his power. This would only lead to more problems. You see, not only did the owner refuse to give me all the war power, he also decided to use, get this, magical admin powers and test out his explosives, completely destroying our front lawn. He's just fired an RPG.
God, can you fix your stream? I want to see this.
Yeah, but why is he doing this? God, you have no idea how small this made me feel. Because all the power we accrued so far seemed like nothing when he just rocked up with his bombs, right? Now, weapons were illegal on the server, but this act of surprise bombing made me realize that there was one more resource I seriously lacked. To buy anything on the server, from planes to helicopters, you needed money, and selling diamonds was the only way to get money. But remember, the admins took all the best diamond mining spots on the server, and at the moment, I was worth 40 bucks. But my eyes were set on the Mecca, a killing machine that cost $1,000 and was completely illegal to use on the server. Now owning it would take me from peasant to king, but how was I gonna afford it if I had no diamonds? Introducing my friend Mark Prometheus, a geography wizard and Earth SMP nerd who helped me find several other huge diamond pockets on the Earth, like this one he showed me right between China and North Korea. So like a starving colonialist dog, I flew there the first chance I got, and let's just say it was payday. Using my cracked out fortune pickaxe in just 30 minutes, my net worth went from $50 to over $2,500. So we did it. But getting rich with ruthless exploitation meant the only thing stopping me now were my morals. Are we the bad guys?
We're definitely the bad guys.
Using a mech was overpowered, don't get me wrong. We were definitely the most powerful on the server, but something didn't sit right with me using it to kill people, because the true test of power, I thought, would only come if I dominated the server without the mech. While I battled this moral dilemma, I worked on expanding my glorious nation of Swagistan. There were 5 days left until the end opened and I still didn't have a plan, which is when Mark told me some interesting information.
The end portals are also based off of things in real life. So the end portal that is in Florida is based off the Kennedy space site.
This was good because now I knew claiming Florida wasn't a mistake. However, opening the end portal would arouse so much suspicion, especially from the others in America. So we had to quickly make a plan to take over the US within the next 2 days. Currently, the US on the Earth S&P had Yukon at the top left and the mighty Swagistan at the bottom right. However, there were a few other countries in the vicinity that needed to be hostilely taken over. Your country is sort of clashing with our interest to unite America. And I'm sure you understand, what that means.
I mean, what do you mean by clashing? There seems to be quite a bit of a buffer there. I stopped at the mountains.
Hey, we want your land. Oh god, we were definitely the bad guys. But every single country agreed to join our alliance, so after 6 VCs and a little bit of flexing our full enchanted netherite armor, the country of America now belonged to the Yuko-Swagistani coalitions, and we could safely start up the Great Floridian End Portal. But as huge as this was, we once again got a grim reminder of something. Hey, why is the owner on my land? Is he trying to... Why does he have a sniper with him? Is he testing out some... When we defeated Antarctica a few days ago and told the leader we wanted to take over the world, he said this about Africa in particular.
You're not strong enough. I don't think anyone can do it.
He was right. Africa was a continent with not only all of the diamonds, but all of the moderators of the sun. Now, they didn't like us because of the rapid power we were getting by taking over America. In fact, the owner said this about us during a stream.
They're not going to want to wage war against Africa. That's going to be the last decision they'll ever make.
Wow. Intimidating. So when the owner rocked up to my land and shot me in the face with a sniper that he claimed was only for testing purposes because guns weren't available on the server, my view changed completely. If it came down to legit melee PvP, we knew we would win because we had a few encounters with them before. And even though it would be illegal to use guns during fighting on the server, it still hurt knowing that the admins had the option to one-tap me with full enchanted netherite armor. At this point, I wondered to myself, would it be necessary to use extreme means? 4 days until the end opened and I was way more confident, but it struck me that I didn't really have a plan for when it actually opened. See, through the past week, the end portal was disabled and it showed an error whenever you jumped in it. But just for fun, today I tried jumping in again and lo and behold, it worked. And I knew exactly what I needed to do. This was crazy. We had early access to the end that nobody else knew about. I was going to hold the Earth hostage. Allow me to explain. Wherever you jump into an end portal from, you only spawn on this one single platform. So when I got early access to the end, I simply claimed the platform and covered it in a 50 block high trap. So when all the citizens of the Earth jumped in, they would be stuck and could not place blocks on claimed land. My battle was far from over, but after what the admins did to humiliate us, I needed this. Once everyone was in the trap, I would hold them hostage in the end and not leave until everyone forced their allegiance to the Swagistani coalition. Easy. However could this go wrong? Okay, everyone, listen up. Listen up very carefully. Everyone standing in the end right now. In my hand is a knockback 2 sword, and in behind you is the void. I will punch you all into the void without hesitation. I've claimed only this part of the end, and none of you can place blocks or blade frost. At this point, I hesitated. I could have easily knocked everyone into the void behind them, but I gave the admins a chance to discuss. Surely the admins would just hear me out and not abuse their power, right? Or Enderpearl Clutch, we have it completely sealed. No! The owner decided to warp everyone out and rendered my trap useless. This was it. We lost all our advantage and had nothing to show for our effort. Swagistan was over. Unless...
It's the only gun.
Plan B! If you won't let us have the end, we'll have to take it. The only gun on the server? Dawn. We can't use this. Do it, Dawn! Do it! Yes, we did it! After that fight, our coalition had successfully taken over the Ender Dragon and stolen the egg from the server. And even though we had the most power, not only were we banished, but we were also declared war criminals and would be put on trial. But what everyone saw with their own eyes was that our biggest advantage, the machine gun, the only gun left on the server, was taken away from Dawn by the owner. And as we prepared for our trial, everybody on the server knew that Swagistan would be finished. What nobody realized was that they didn't know shit.